Dear students, good evening. Welcome to Law Excellence IAS. Let us start the discussion on today's newspaper, that is 18th January 2021. The first article for discussion is The Unraveling of Liberal Globalism. In this scenario, we need to talk about an world history perspective to the existing international order. Initially, between World War I and World War II, America kept itself away from European politics. America did not want to inculcate or involve itself into the war politics of Europe, which can cause undue harm to its economic growth. This is what we call it as isolationism practiced by America. This has given opportunity for America to develop its industry and also to modernize its economy. But the situation got changed after the Second World War. In the World War I itself, Mr. Woodrow Wilson has proposed for international liberal order. He was proposing for global order which is based on rules which will be enforced by international institutions. This is what he described as organized common peace. Mr. Woodrow Wilson is talking about organized common peace. But isolationists in United States of America, they don't want to buy this particular thing. They felt that getting into European politics is kind of burning oneself. So that's why even in the World War II, they entered at the end. But after the Second World War, America's perspective has changed. America wanted to stand for liberal order. So liberal internationalism is promoted by United States of America and Western Europe. It was against the socialistic internationalism promoted by USSR and Eastern Europe. So in the Cold War era, the transatlantic consensus, the consensus between US and Western Europe was very high. People wanted to protect the free world. They took the moral high ground. But after the collapse of USSR, if you observe, many of the historians predicted that this is the end of history. It means that international liberal order is expected to stay and continue. It is the only way forward for political organization of the human beings. But today, if we observe, United States of America appears to be going into crisis again. Across the world, you see the right-wing populists are increasing. If you talk USA, Trump has won the elections, Maria Le Pen in case of France, like that different people are coming to the center stage now. And second, USA got itself involved with various wars, and with regard to foreign affairs, international scenario, it failed to make impact after disintegration of USSR. And the next is rise of China. In this scenario, Mr. Trump has brought back in America first. It means in a way he is talking about US isolationism again. So previously, when Western Europe and USA were in consensus in controlling or containing USSR or socialism, NATO was formed. NATO was at the peak of its heyday. Now today, this transatlantic consensus is missing even in containing China. Europe is coming into closer relationship with China. On the other hand, America is moving away from China. So that's where we can say that United States of America or liberal globalism, it has its own limitations. And Trump may have left the office. Trumpism, which talks about American isolationism, is expected to continue, and many people still have support for this. This is what the essence of this article. Financial boom at a time of economic stagnation. Today, let us see the economic production and real figures of economic production. Economy is falling. Our GDP is falling, let me put it that way. Unemployment is on rise. Poverty is on rise. In this context, what do we expect of a finance sector or Sensex of the stock exchanges? If you see the Sensex of the stock exchanges, it is going upwards. So the real economy is going downwards, but Sensex is going, finance sector indices are going upwards. Why this anomaly? Why this dissonance? This is what is the question over here. So it clearly says that there is a disconnect between finance sector and the real production economy in our country. The major reason is the finance sector is more about the market sentiment and the trust which the people have on the market. So this market sentiment is going up due to some speculative forces. This is where a superstructure will be created without a strong base. Without strong base, this finance structure, which is a superstructure which is created, at any point of time it can collapse. The 2008 financial crisis is a critical example for this. And the second thing is, Mr. Karl Marx had called this finance sector as fictitious capital, because this capital is serving its own purpose rather than serving the real purpose of the economic production. That's why he called it as fictitious capital. So these are the points we need to remember. Injecting confidence. Here we need to understand two words. One is vaccine confidence, the next is vaccine hesitancy. When the people do not rely a vaccine, they fear to take that particular vaccine, which is called vaccine hesitancy. And vaccine confidence means to what extent people rely on its safety and efficacy. COVID vaccine is the first adult vaccine administered in India by the government. Here, efficacy safety concerns are very high, and the government has to seriously work towards efficacy safety concerns. Covaxin and Covishield, these are not one and the same. The reason is Covishield has completed certain kind of trials in Brazil and UK, but Covaxin is released in a trial mode itself. That's why data accuracy, transparency is important. That is what this is talking about. Update debate. Recently, WhatsApp proposed for an update. The update is to provide for service changes and privacy changes. They want to share the user information with the mother company, that is Facebook. It means, can we keep our privacy in a private agency that is running after profits? That is the bigger question. So that clearly exposes the regulatory gaps in India, especially with regard to social media and data sharing. We have a strong regulatory gap. If you go to European Union, the proposal itself do not arrive for the reason that general data protection regulation. So these prohibit transfer of data of private individuals without their permission from one company or one app to the other app. So we do need such a strong regulation in India with regard to the data transfer between the companies. This is what this article states. Bridging gulf between dream and reality. So here, conceptualization and actualization are two different things. Mr. Martin Luther King Jr., he is the one who fought against segregation and racial discrimination in the United States of America. If Abraham Lincoln has to be remembered, he has to be remembered for his prohibition of slavery. This is what we call it as Emancipation Proclamation. So it means he is remembered even today for this prohibition of slavery. But Martin Luther King, if he has believed, he has to be believed or he has to be remembered, there is one thing. How American society is changed without firing a bullet, without developing racial hatred among different social groups. That is what we have to remember. He is greatly inspired from Gandhiji and Satyagraha as a tool. In this context, Barack Obama has clearly stated that without Gandhiji and its Satyagraha and Martin Luther King not using those, America would have been a different country today. So in this context, the fighting of racial segregation, he clearly stated that there is no place for hatred and bitterness. And he also said, content of character is important over color. It means that a person shall not be judged by his birth identities or factors of birth, but he has to be judged by the content of one's character. And he has also practiced civil disobedience. And this civil disobedience, he brought it from India's national movement. In Montgomery, bus boycott demonstration was done. So this bus boycott demonstration has yielded the necessary results to them. And finally, the work of Mr. Martin Luther King Jr. has brought in Civil Rights Act 1964 and then Voting Rights Act of 1965. So Lyndon Johnson, when he was the president, he was the one who brought these particular laws passed. So Mr. Martin Luther King has to be remembered for this Civil Rights Act and Voting Rights Act. which has given the political power to African Americans. And Mr. Barack Obama becoming the President of United States of America is the highest representation of his act, or highest achievement of him in the future. And the roots were laid by the Martin Luther King. That's how it can be stated. Rise of shadow entrepreneurship. What is this shadow entrepreneurship? Which is not real entrepreneurship or not making a real value. Let us take many apps have come up in the name of teaching to make use of this particular situation today. So COVID-19 situation has disrupted the markets, traditional businesses, etc. To make a quick buck during this time, many of the technological things have come in the education sector. Similarly, in the finance sector, Chinese apps have come as loan givers. These all represent a shadow entrepreneurship which is unregulated. That is what this article says. 2.24 lakh vaccinated in 2 days. 447 report adverse reactions. We have planned more than 3 lakhs. Only 2.24 took it. It means that clearly 33% have evaded taking the vaccine. That is a clear indication for vaccine hesitancy in India. Is it due to vaccine hesitancy or due to technical glitches? The government has not made it clear yet. States fall short of inoculation target, and almost every state falls short of inoculation target. One of the reasons which is stated is vaccine hesitancy, or the other reasons are technical glitches, which we already discussed. Thank you very much. This is Dr. Rambabu signing off for Law Excellence IAS.